very excited to talk about this guy today, and also I've got another one. We're going to look at and compare the SG-1 Milky Way Stargate with the Pegasus Stargate from Atlantis. These are both out from Master Replicas now. You can get them. They're really beautiful. My bottom line takeaway here is I think they did a great job with both of them, but these Stargates are not equal, and you'll see what I mean in just a second. I spoke with Ben Robinson from Master Replicas back when the company was taking over from Eaglemoss. He managed the Stargate model line at Eaglemoss. Now he's doing the same thing at Master Replicas. But what he said was back when Eaglemoss was doing the first models for the Stargate franchise, they talked about doing a Stargate. They wanted to do a Stargate as obviously a very important central display piece for Stargate fans, but they were trying to figure out how to do it in such a way that they could give enough value in what it is and how big it is relative to how much they were going to have to charge for it. So in terms of the materials, the investment in the design, the intricacy, the display piece, I think they landed at a really good spot. This is a good sized Stargate. It's not too big, but it's not too small sitting on my desk or on my shelf back behind me. I think they nailed it, but again, these two gates are not the same. We're going to look at them very closely side by side as we review them here. Of course, you'll get the typical box from Master Replicas. This is well packaged. It looks great coming out of the box, and it has a great big display stand. We'll talk more in a minute about what's going on here, and I'll show you an alternative. The Milky Way Stargate is currently listed at $50 US. The Atlantis gate, which we'll get to in a second, is $55, and I think it's worth that extra $5 for what it is. Both of these are made of a high-quality polystone, so it feels relatively weighty, just like the ships. It has some weight to it, right? It doesn't feel like a hunk of plastic that's hollow or too light. But it's also not a rock. It's not super heavy. The balance is great. The weight is great. I'm very pleased with this. And with the detail of the etching, if you take a closer look here, you can really see that the designers captured the intricate inlaid display of the Stargate. So look here, not just at the chevrons, not just at the symbols on the inner track, which all are screen matched very well. We've got, of course, the most important thing, first off, is accuracy. So we have 9 chevrons, which is correct, and 39 symbols around the inner track of the Stargate. That looks great. But if you look further at the details along the face of the gate, you can see this design matches the actual prop from the show. I'll show a couple of shots here so you can see. Also, the back of the Stargate. We've seen here and there from maybe other licensees who do something with the Stargate that they don't always recognize that the back of the gate looks different from the front of the gate. So no, the back of the Stargate should not have a track of symbols, and this looks right. This looks just perfect. No complaints at all, and I think the paint job is also really nice. Instead of a single solid color, which again would make it look cheaper, would make it look like a toy, you have this sort of paint wash effect that makes it look like stone, which it is. The Stargate is made of naquita. My model, unfortunately, is made of polystone, not of naquita, which is not naturally occurring on Earth. But the paint job looks really great. It looks like stone. I have zero complaints here. Let's compare it then to the Atlantis model. This is the Pegasus Galaxy Stargate, which of course in the franchise is a newer model of the Stargate, right? The Milky Way is meant to be an older model. It's more analog, whereas you have a digital upgrade in the Pegasus Galaxy when the ancients resettled there. Again, taking a close-up look at this, you can see first of all that there's the main difference is that it's wider. And you can see here side by side, I want to talk about this more in a second, but it's the same size. Both of the Stargates have a diameter of 9¼ inches, which is 23.5 centimeters. Same size, but it's thicker. So there's more material here. There's more polystone that went into the casting. But again, it looks great. The chevrons are beautiful blue. You can see here because the gate is thicker, more raised here around the edges, that the chevrons also stand out a little bit more from the edge, which I think is great. It's screen accurate. And along the inner track here, we have these constellations from the Pegasus galaxy along our inner track for that digital dialing process that we see on the show. This gate doesn't actually spin. Instead, we have that digital dialing procedure. Again, the back of the Atlantis gate looks exactly right. The constellation patterns do not appear on the back. But here's the big difference. If you hold these two up next to each other side by side, you can see just how much thicker the Pegasus Stargate is. It's really substantial. It's, I would say, almost double the width. And that's more screen accurate. Really, what we have with the Milky Way gate is somebody looked at the surface. They might have had digital files for the CG model from the show for this, but they looked at the surface of the Stargate. They got the front just right. They got the back just right. And then they kind of put them together. And it's just the front and the back. And the result is that it's thin. It's fine. It looks great, but it's not entirely accurate to the show. They did a better job with the Pegasus gate. They improved more to be in line with how the Stargate actually looks in universe, which is this, I'd say, kind of rough looking stone core. So the front piece of the Stargate, the back piece of the Stargate meet in this rough center edge here. We see that on the show. And maybe it's easier to spot on Stargate Atlantis because we have space gates, so we get to see the gate from different angles more often, but it is there on the Milky Way gate as well on the show. So I wish that my Milky Way model had that as well, but it really looks like it's designed to be looked at and admired from the front. So all in all, with the Pegasus Stargate, this is a real improvement to what we had from the first model. The first model is great on its own, but when you compare them side by side, boy, there's a lot more going on here. It's much more screen accurate. It feels, of course, much more substantial because there's more material that goes into it. It justifies that extra $5 asking price. Now let's talk about the displays. Both of the models come with these large, rather heavy bases. The SG-1 gate has an SGC symbol on the front for your display. And there's a little wiggle room when you put the Stargate in here. It allows it to lean back ever so slightly. And then the Atlantis base has, strangely, instead of the Pegasus logo from the show, from the arm patches that everybody wears all around the base, it just has the Stargate Atlantis TV show logo. I wish they would have gone with the Pegasus symbol from the show for consistency between the two display pieces. But here the Atlantis gate fits in here as well, and you can tell just based on how much wider the gap is, how much wider the Stargate itself is. This one also moves back and forth a little bit. It will recline ever so slightly on your shelf. Now, I'd say overall on my shelf, these look pretty good. Well, the first thing that you're going to say about it is it's big. So it's going to take up a lot of space on your shelf. And maybe you have a room or a shelf where you want to display these that it is suitable to have a great big base like this. I'm looking for something a little bit smaller, a little bit sleeker profile, also where the Stargate doesn't sit quite so low inside the base, which I think it reflects more of what we see on the show. The Stargate isn't quite so low in the various pedestals that we see it on various alien planets. So we have a solution here. My good buddy Martin, SGA Gate Builder, gave me this beautiful gift that he made. Look at that. This one is narrower gap, right? So this is for the SG-1 gate. Let's try it out. Check that out. That looks great, right? It looks like an off-world Stargate. He also has a version of this that's painted gray. And the gate doesn't sit quite so low in it, but more importantly, the whole display piece has a lower profile. That big solid black block is not going to overwhelm the display piece. This looks fantastic. Thank you, Martin, for giving me this. I would encourage you to go check out his website if you want something like this, or check Etsy, because there are Stargate fans, of course, who are custom 3D printing their own display pieces to go along with the officially licensed Stargate. I think this looks fantastic. This is what's going to be on my shelf for the foreseeable future. Oh, and one more thing I forgot to add, Martin also made a puddle. Check that out, an event horizon of your very own. Looks fantastic. Really have to resist not playing Frisbee with these. These are not toys, these are display pieces. If you've got little kids, make sure you put them behind glass or up somewhere where they're not gonna get knocked over or stepped on. These are really excellent from Master Replicas. The Milky Way Stargate gets an A from me. The Pegasus Stargate gets an A+, and of course now I want a wider, thicker version of the Milky Way gate. But we're looking forward to an official announcement, hopefully in the near future, that we're also going to get a Destiny Stargate to round out the set. Check these out over at masterreplicas.com. This is not a sponsored video, but I want you to make sure that you can get your hands on these while they are still available. We've got more coming from Master Replicas. I've got more models sitting here waiting to be reviewed, so watch the channel. We're going to review the Asgard ship Beliskner and also the Atlantis puddle jumper here in the near future. I'm excited to take a look at these new ship models. A big thanks to everybody for your support. We couldn't do what we do without your support. Thank you especially to our channel members, whose names you're seeing scroll right here, right now, and especially a big thanks to those who signed up at the patron level. Let me get the names right here. Benjamin Schrank, Brett C. Person, Martin Zokor, and Nudist Publishing. Thank you guys so much for supporting the work that we're doing here at Gateworld. If you're interested in learning more about channel membership, click on the join button down below this video. If you don't see the join button on mobile, look on a desktop browser and you can find out more about how you can see Gateworld videos early, get your name in the credits, and things like that. Again, thanks so much for your support. We'll see you guys in the next one.